Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch. This time I'm going to show you how to defeat the game's final boss, Deathel. Deathel is located in the Windfish's Egg, and in order to even access this dungeon, you have to complete all the other dungeons in the game with the exception of the Color Dungeon. The Color Dungeon is optional, but you need all 8 instruments of the sirens from the main 8 dungeons, and you need to go up to the Windfish's Egg, play the Ballad of the Windfish on your ocarina, and then you'll gain access to the final dungeon. The final dungeon itself is a maze, and the solution to that maze is random for every single playthrough. What you need to do is you need to complete the trading sequence and get the magnifying glass. With the magnifying glass, go to the library in Mabe Village and read the book on the bottom right table. This book will tell you the solution to the maze. Again, it is unique to your playthrough, so you must complete the trading sequence. You can try to brute force this, but you will likely be here for hours, as it's a pretty long combination of directions. One thing that I do want to mention before we get started is that the boomerang in this version of the game has been nerfed into the ground. It no longer kills the final form of the boss in one hit. Instead, it takes 20 hits, so there's really no point in getting it unless you don't want to waste your arrows. So with all that out of the way, let's get started on how to defeat the boss in all his forms. In true final boss fashion, he has 6 shadow forms that you need to defeat in order to beat the game. The first form is a giant ooze, or a giant Zol, has a few different names. In order to defeat this, you want to take out the magic powder and sprinkle it 3 times. Slashing it with your sword will do nothing, and you do need to be careful of where he's jumping because he does deal a bunch of damage. So make sure you come here with Crazy Tracy's secret medicine applied. Okay, so once that's defeated, the second form is Agins Shadow. This is Link's personal nightmare from A Link to the Past. And just like Aghanim from A Link to the Past, he can shoot 2 forms of fireballs. One is an orb that you need to bounce back at him, and then one is an orb that is actually made up of 4 orbs that will break upon impact. So you want to try to either jump over them or just avoid them completely. Don't slash them, there's no point, and you also cannot block them with your shield. Alright, so I just keep failing and take my own advice. I'm actually bad at this in A Link to the Past as well. We actually wind up getting 3 balls in a row. That's crazy. Alright, so this should be the last one. Great. Alright, so once you bounce enough orbs back at Aghanim Shadow, the boss will transform, and up next is Moldorm's Shadow. So just like you fought him earlier, you just gotta hit the tail. You can use the magic rod, you can use your sword, whatever you want to use is up to you, but you do need to hit the tail. And of course, again, just like you fought him the first time, when you hit his tail, he starts moving faster and faster and faster. So just keep that in mind. Alright, boss going pretty fast now. I think one more hit will do it. Yeah, I somehow got him in this weird loop. But yeah, okay, so once Moldorm's Shadow is down, it's time for the Shadow of Ganon. The way I like to deal with Shadow of Ganon is to charge up my sword and use spin attacks. You can use the Pegasus boots and charge into him. That will also work, but I find that to be a little unsafe because you will likely take damage from him spinning his double-sided trident, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so when he lets go of his trident, that is when you want to spin slash. So I'm trying to figure it out here actually as I'm doing it, but he can form the fire keys just like in A Link to the Past. He sends those out at you, and when he moves his trident out of the way, that's when you want to get near him and use a spin slash, just like that. So you need 4 spin slashes in order to defeat him. So I think we have 2 now, so we just gotta do 2 more. This form does take a while because there's just a lot of like back and forth and avoidance, and it's not that hard. It's just you gotta be smart and just avoid the trident when it comes. Try jumping over it, unsuccessful. Alright, so we need to do 1 more spin slash in order to defeat him. So we're just gonna let him form his bats 1 more time. They're gonna come shooting out at us. Alright, last bat coming. He's gonna throw the trident. Now it's time to charge up our sword and let it rip. Wow, he blocked it. What a maverick. Alright, so after 4 sword spins, it is time to move on to the Land Mola. The way to defeat this is to shoot it with the magic rod. It moves really quick, and unlike the Land Mola that you fought in Yarna Desert, this one never goes underground. So you just gotta keep hitting it with the magic rod, and eventually it will fall. After dealing enough damage to the Land Mola Shadow, it is now time to fight the final form of the final boss, Deathel. Deathel is relatively easy once you know what to do, so equip your Roc's Feather and the bow and arrow. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the boomerang no longer kills him in one hit, so you're better off just using arrows. It's just easier. Alright, so the Roc's Feather is used to jump over these arms that rotate back and forth. When they move really slow, it's actually kind of tricky to dodge while also staying in range of his eye, so that's why I get hit a whole bunch. When they're moving slow, you want to jump over it and then jump back. When it's moving more quickly, you can just jump in place. So you'll start seeing me do that in a little bit. I noticed that if I'm facing away from the eye, it tends to open. I'm not sure if that's a deliberate mechanic or if that's just something weird that I found. But yeah, now that they're moving quick, we can just jump in place and the arms will go right over us. Alright, so we're going to wait for the eye to open. I noticed that in this version, the eye stays open a little bit longer, which makes this boss a little bit easier and take less time. Less time in general, I should say. Still takes a while. It takes a bunch of hits. Alright. And once you deal the final blow, Deathel will explode. He will tell you the island is going to disappear. I'm going to end the guide here. I do not want to spoil the final credits for anybody, so once you defeat him, a staircase will appear, and walking up that staircase triggers the ending sequence of the game. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Switch, please subscribe to the channel so you can get alerted when new videos go live. You can find me on Twitter, I'm at SJCage, and you can also find me on twitch.tv/SweetJohnnyCage, where I stream every Tuesday and Thursday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Alright, that about does it. I'm SweetJohnnyCage, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.